Hello, this is Eun Joo Kim from Ulch University. My presentation topic is the structural relationship between the learning experience and student engagement in higher education that affect the level of student satisfaction in elective course. The sequence of progress is as follows. The management of quality education and the progress of teaching methods play an essential role in developing elective courses in university education. It should not be overlooked that elective classes have something to do with student growth as a reader with both sophistication and dignity, putting aside the social and political aspect of structural reform in higher education. To this end, learning experience at universities should be student-centered learning, not teacher-centered. Kim Min-sung provided that a teacher's choice of teaching strategies could make a difference in learners' in-class experience. That is why it is important for a teacher to interact with students and one another freely and not exclusively provide knowledge to students. Besides, asking questions to students induce their reaction and allow them to experience quality learning. The study of Park Wan-sung on teaching strategies and lecture evaluation in learning experience in class showed that students are more satisfied with practice, presentation, and discussion-based teaching method than lecture-based. In the study of Park Yong-hwan on the impact of cooperative learning and individualistic learning on student academic achievement, the students who experienced cooperative learning showed a high level of academic performance. This is because cooperative learning enables group members to frequently share feedback on their ideas exchanged and created during the class. As such, what learning experience is given is an essential factor in learner satisfaction with class. Also, various studies have been conducted on factors that can influence class satisfaction other than learning experience. Among those studies, a study done by Yong-myung-sung et al. On the impact of the interaction between professor and student. Active cooperative learning and student engagement on student satisfaction with major and elective course found that student engagement has the most significant impact on the satisfaction of such students in electives. The study show among various factors affecting class satisfaction, teaching method as learning experience can make a difference in the class engagement of students. This study is intended to provide a baseline for designing teaching method through the structural model that affect the student's satisfaction in elective by structurally analyzing the connection between learning, experience, and engagement, which was identified as factors affecting the class satisfaction based on previous studies not by simply searching for predictive factors that influence the satisfaction. The research questions of this study are as follows. Research question 1. What is the correlation between learning experience, student engagement, and class satisfaction? Research question 2. What is the structural relationship between learning experience, student engagement, and class satisfaction? As reported in the initial studies, factor influencing learner satisfaction in higher education. Student class satisfaction is used as an important measure for evaluating academic performance as a result of teaching learning activities. In particular, elective course compared to major course put emphasize more on the improvement of studies, basic knowledge, and autonomous learning ability, and the formation of a correct worldview and sound value. Therefore, it is required to find a way to boost class satisfaction through the effectiveness of electives in higher education. Several studies have been conducted on the factor affecting student satisfaction in elective class. There have been studies focused on the analysis of factors and relationships that affect student satisfaction in electives, such as a study analyzed the impact of learners' characteristics on the satisfaction with elective, study on various factors affecting class satisfaction, and research on class satisfaction in electives. Therefore, this study based on previous study relative to student satisfaction with elective has implication as follow-up research on the structural relationship between the learning experience and student engagement recognized by learners. The target of this study was analyzed using 2019 survey data from a four-year university in Gyeonggi-do, Korea, collected through the research tool uh, which was developed by the Korean Educational Development Institute to evaluate university teaching learning quality. The survey was conducted for about a month from May 1 day to June 13, 2019 with the participation of 316 respondents and 3,003 copies were used for the analysis, excluding those who did not take elective. The study used the nasal test tool to research learning experience, student engagement, and satisfaction with the elective class. Among the research area of nasal, the learning experience area consists of the total of 15 questions. The student engagement area comprises 8 questions related to the sense of belonging and pride of their department and the university. The student question satisfaction with the elective consists of 14 questions about goal, content, and the method of elective course. PASW Statistic 18.0 and Amos 18.0 program were used to analyze the data collected to explore the research question. First, frequency analysis and descriptive statistic analysis were conducted to examine the subject socio-demographic factor and the means and standard deviation of observed variables. In addition, correlation analysis was conducted to see the relation between the observed variable and multicollinearity, which refer to the high interrelationship between independent variable was detected. Moreover, the absolute fit indicator chi-square RMSEA, with absolute evaluate how well the spherical model fit the data, and the relative fit indicator NFI, IFI, TRI, CFI, which show how well the hypothesized model explain the data compared to the worst independent model were studied through the goodness of fit index presented in the model verification using the structural model between learning experience, student engagement, and class satisfaction. In order to properly evaluate a research model, it is necessary to select a model that is not affected by the size of a sample and fit the data well, and is at the same time simple and straightforward. Item parcelling was used for the sub-factors of student learning experience, since the structural equation model was applied to solve the research questions. Item parcelling has the advantage of increasing the likelihood of achieving a normal distribution by expanding the range of indicator score and making indicator model more reliable because related items are combined. It also helps reduce estimation errors by decreasing the number of estimated parameters compared to the case of using individual items. Plus, the maximum likelihood estimation was adapted for parameter estimation. As shown in Table 2, the cooperative learning experience show a fairly high value. M is 2.72 compared to other learning experience. And the student sense of belonging to the department indicated a relative high value. M is 2.98 compared to other sub-factor in the student engagement. Lastly, student satisfaction, which elective show the comparatively higher value. M is 3.13. Then, the sub-factor in item in terms of satisfaction with the scope of the evaluation. Overall, the average of the running experience was 2.55. The average of student engagement was 2.48, and the average of state satisfaction in elective class was 3.02. As a result of analyzing the correlation between the variable of the learning experience, student engagement, and student satisfaction in elective, the correlation coefficient between all variables was from 0.0118 to 0.784, showing a statistically significant positive correlation. A structural model in which college student learning experience influence satisfaction with the elective and student engagement affect satisfaction with the with elective was creative based on previous study in order to explore the structural relationship of earning experience, student engagement, and satisfaction with the elective. Image 1 showed the initial research model, and the result of the model fit analysis are shown in Table 2. This study verified how well the structural model fits through the comparative fit index CFI, which is less sensitive to the sample size. The loop mean square error of approximation RMSEA, considering the simplicity of the model and the non-normal fit index. The fit evaluation results showed that the null hypothesis that the model fit the data was rejected at the significance level of 0.05, chi-square is 982, 0.512. The RMSEA value of this study is 0.093, which considered being the acceptable fit according to Stiger's suggestion to define an acceptable fit as an RMSEA value less than or equal to 0.10. Close fit if less than or equal to 0.05. A good fit if less than or equal to 0.01. But the research model was partially modified by referring to previous study to search for model that can better reflect the characteristic of the data. Modification index were utilized to modify the model, and bigger value in the index indicate that the model would be improved. Thus, it is necessary to examine a model fit by improving value with larger modification indicated in order among the value shown in the modification index. The analysis of the modification index shown that a model fit would increase the most when it is modified to set the correlation between E1 and E2, E5 and E6, E7 and E5, which are the error term of student engagement, and D13 and D14, which are the error term of satisfaction with elective class. It implicates that among the sub-factor of student engagement, both sense of belonging to the department and the university are categorized as a sense of belonging except for the department and the university, are categorized as the sense of belonging, except for the measure of each unique content. Peer relationship satisfaction and the satisfaction of a university continuation are classified as student satisfaction with their school life, except for the measurement of each unique content and the student exception of their university and student satisfaction with their choice of university fall into the category of student satisfaction with their university. Lastly, setting the collection between the two variables error term is meaningful as academic sophistication is covering with the quality of class, except for measuring the specific content of academic sophistication and class equality. So the correlation was configured between the error terms E1 and E2, E5 and E6, and E7 and E8 for student engagement based on the analysis of the modification index. For the analyzed revised model was designed to set the correlation between D13 and D14, which are the error term of satisfaction with elective. The best fitting model drawn from the result is image 2, which show the first coefficient between the variable and represent direct and indirect effect between the variables. The goodness of field results for this model are presented in Table 3. The modified model of Table 3 tells us that it is better than the initial one as the value of chi-square exact fit index is 752.604 and the probability of significance is 0.000 and RMSEA, the close fit index, is 0.077. It is safe to say that the relative conformity index such as NFI, IFI, TLI, and CFI all meet the acceptance criteria and are good models. Table 4 represents the effect coefficient of the revised model on satisfaction with elective. The path coefficient between the latent variable were significant thousandths when judging by the critical ratio value as shown in Table 4. As a result of explaining the statistical significance level of the path coefficient and the estimate path coefficient between variables set in the modified model as shown in Table 4, the estimation for running experience to student engagement to satisfaction with the elective and learning experience to satisfaction with electives are of a significant level thousands and the path coefficient are statistically significant. Also, the direct and indirect effect of university student learning experience in class on the satisfaction of elective were studied using student engagement as a parameter and test method for the significance of indirect of elective include Sobel test, Aroyan test, Goodman test, and bootstrapping. This study adopted bootstrapping, which estimated the sampling distribution of coefficient and test random sample of data as a substitute for the population. The BC is bias corrected percentile. The BC method was utilized to calculate the significance probability when verifying the significance of the indirect effect. Table 5 presented the analyzed results based on the bootstraps method. First of all, looking at the total effect in Table 5, college student learning experience show a total effect of beta is 0.365 on student engagement. Student engagement was a total effect of beta is 0.257. One on satisfaction with elective class. Third, learning experience indicated on indirect effect of beta is 0.328. On satisfaction with elective course through student engagement and the total effect was beta is 0.424. It was found that student learning experience through class engagement has a higher effect on improving student satisfaction with the elective than learning experience alone. It is therefore essential to improve student engagement along with the learning experience for increasing student satisfaction with elective course. The study was designed to look for ways to increase student satisfaction in elective classes by analyzing the structural relationship between student engagement and cooperative learning experience, critical thinking activities, and challenging learning experience relative to learning experience. The research result was summarized as follows. First, a correlation exists between the variable of learning experience, student engagement, and class satisfaction. Second, student learning experience through class engagement has a higher effect on improving student satisfaction with elective than learning experience alone. The study demonstrated that the learning experience, especially corporate learning, activities for critical thinking and challenging learning experience are important to enhance the satisfaction of university students in elective course. In particular, it was proved that student engagement has an effect on the satisfaction of effective in addition to learning experience in class in terms of the management of elective course by confirming the indirect effect of student engagement in the relationship between learning experience and class satisfaction. In order to improve satisfaction with elective, it is necessary to develop teaching support programs for elective classes that are differentiated from teaching support programs for elective classes that are differentiated from programs for major relative classes to provide better learning experience. In addition, follow-up study needed to be done to analyze what factor of learners' learning experience outside of class affect the satisfaction with elective in enhancing the satisfaction in elective. Please refer to the following to reference. Thank you for your attention to the end.